انا متخيل ان انت اللي تتحكم في القصه دي يا دكتور حافظ، مش انا.
لا لا، قصدي دكتور في ينزل الماوس تحت في اسفل الباوربوينت.
مم. الباوربوينت، فهمت، خلاص فهمت عليك.
ايوه ايوه. انا ايوه لا لا.
كده يا دكتور حافظ.
ايوه خلاص.
تمام.
يعني لان حطيت الصوت يتردد لان حطيته
مم.
في اليوتيوب مباشرة.
مم. تمام كده، الدنيا ماشيه كويس عندك.
ايوه
تمام. انا قلت اعمل خلفيه لنهر النيل عندنا، يعني هو كان عامل خلفيه لمعالم
ايوه جميل.
استراليا، فقلت الله، طب ما نعمل خلفيه لنهر النيل
لا لا جميل جميل.
ومعالم القاهره.
ايه ذكريات دكتور، ذكريات ايام لما زرناك هناك.
انت جيت الغردقه مش كده؟
انا ايوه جيت القاهرة بعد على طول الى الغردقة.
وبعد كده كنت في في كاردف،
ايوه بالضبط بالضبط.
ميلينيوم هوتيل في كاردف.
ايوه بالضبط.
انا اذكر هذه
كوب
الايام
كوب
لما
كوبثون كوبثون.
كلموني في التليفون، قالوا
ايوه
لي احمد الحجري ومش عارف مين عاملين مشاكل، قالوا لي بس حافظ بره الايه، القصه دي. قالوا لي ده ملتزم حافظ. كان الحجري
ايوه
انت عارف شويه، كان مشاغب شويه،
ايوه ايوه ذكريات ذكريات.
ده اللي كانوا عايزين يمشوه.
ايوه
دول اتدخلت انا وقعدت خدتهم بالهادي كده.
صحيح. دكتور انت شو اخبارك؟ كيف الاسره؟
الحمد لله بخير، كله تمام.
الحمد لله الحمد
الحمد
لله.
لله.
الحمد لله. آه، في كثيرين متشوقين دكتور للمحاضره هذه
ان شاء الله
خصوصا.
يعني تلقى القبول
عندنا
باذن الله.
الحين موجود معي استاذ بدر. استاذ بدر موجود. انا بس واحد يتكلم. استاذ بدر.
بدر مين؟
بدر الدهلي.
بدر زهري، اصحاب المعالي
السلام عليكم
والسعاده.
دكتور، صباح الخير.
صباح الخير يا بدر، ازيك حالك؟
الحمد لله، اخبارك
كيف
كيف صحتك؟
الحال؟
اهلا
الاذاعي
بكم
النشيط.
اليوم، سعيدين يعني اليوم نسترجع ذكريات يمكن عمرها اكثر من 20 سنة.
اه،
آه،
انا لسه بفكر في
متشوقين
القصه
صراحة.
دي يا شباب والله. يعني اسمعوني اقول لكم يا شباب، ما انتوا يعني اخواتي الصغيرين.
حبيبي يا
آه،
دكتور.
لقيت ان خلاص احنا عام 2025، بعد ايام.
نعم.
صحيح.
وانا جيت وانا جيت السلطنه سنه 2000، يعني كاننا
صحيح
بنتكلم على ربع قرن من الزمان.
نعم.
بالضبط بالضبط.
ربع قرن من الزمان.
ان شاء الله.
صحيح.
والسنوات جريت بسرعه.
صحيح.
يعني يمكن كنت انا اول المغادرين من الزملاء المصريين اللي كانوا هناك. آه، انت عارف ان انا كنت متوقع يعني التصعيد بتاعي في المناصب في مصر فايه، فكان صعب ان انا اكمل، لان كان هيضيع عليا الفرص في مصر.
بالضبط بالضبط بالضبط.
واخد بالك؟ وبعدين كنت يعني خدت اقصى عدد سنوات في رئاسه القسم. ما كان يستقيم ان بعد ما اكون رئيس القسم ارجع تاني. انا نفسيا يعني انا كده يعني قد اكون مخطئ، لكن
ايوه.
نفسيا لا، ما كانش ينفع.
لكن بكل أمانة معالي الدكتور، يعني أنت يعني عملت نقلة نوعية في قسم السياحة في جامعة
والحمد
السلطان.
لله وانتم مكملين، يعني انا سعيد جدا
أنا
يعني.
أقولها بكل أمانة، يعني
الله
إلى
يخليك
اليوم
يا بدر،
الأثر
الله يخليك.
الأثر اللي وضعته يعني إلى الآن باقي. يعني اليوم تجدنا نحن في هذه الأماكن، الدكتور حافظ والدكتورة ماجدة والشباب في كل مكان، يعني هذا كلها
ما شاء الله
نتاج.
متميزين في كل مكان.
صحيح
اللي منكم دخلوا القوات المسلحه ونوادي الضباط، زي
صحيح
عادل مثلا على سبيل المثال،
صحيح. يعني
واخرين.
سليمان
اخرين،
الجهوري
سليمان الجهوري.
وماجد البلوشي.
ماجد فين دلوقتي؟ انا وحشني والله، ما شفته.
موجود.
جميع المرات اللي رحت فيها السلطنه ما شفت ماجد.
لا لا موجود الحمد لله. وامس
فين
امس
اراضيه
كنا
دلوقتي زي ما بيقولوا عندنا في مصر؟
امس كنا متواصلين مع بعض مع
اه.
ماجد.
اه.
واليوم نفس الشيء، قبل شوي كنا متواصلين، عندنا جروب خاص لشباب
ما في
السياحة.
جروب انا برضه احنا عملناه، مجرد بعيد عليكم مثلا في رمضان، في المواسم. فبن- وظاهر في مشكله في الباك جراوند بيخلي فيه ظلال كده حوالين وجه مش كده.
ايوه صحيح.
مش عارف
في
دي
مثل
تعالج ازاي
ايوه.
دي.
ايوه. استاذ بدر، كيف حالك؟ ايش اخبارك؟
والله الحمد لله دكتور، الحمد لله نشكر الله تعالى. تعرف الحين نشطب نهاية الفصل الدراسي،
بالضبط.
عبارة عن تقديم assignments dissertations presentations،
صحيح.
ويعني مشغولين. يعني الطلبة عاد، طبعا نحن عندنا أيضا هنا في الكلية شوية إشكالية أخرى. احنا عندنا نسميها الدور الثاني يعني، أو الريسيت. الطلبة
ايوه ايوه.
فتضطر انك تجيب الطلبة اللي عندهم ريسيت ونعمل لهم نسميها سبورتنج سيشنز،
ايوه
نزودهم اذا كان مثلا في تحديثات في الماتيريالز، في الاشياء اللي يحتاج يراجعوها.
ايوه
آه، فيعني مشغولين في بعض الاشياء هذه.
ايوه.
معانا اليوم طلبة مقرر اسمه الاي توريزم، السياحة الإلكترونية. أنا
اوه ما شاء الله.
المقررة هي
مع
الطلبة
مع
اليوم
نفس
مطلوب
الموضوع.
منهم. ايه مطلوب منهم سبحان الله، يعني رب صدفة خير من ألف ميعاد. الدكتور معالي الدكتور بيعمل لنا يعني موضوع متعلق بالموضوع اللي هم يدرسوا فيه. فتصور اليوم أنقذني البروف ماجد في الاساينمنت اللي لازم يعملوا. عندهم تاسك 20% يعملوا له
ايوه
ريفلكشن لهذا الموضوع. فحقيقة متشوقين، ويعني شغالين في بعض الأعمال المتعلقة بالسياحة. عندنا
حلو.
اليوم أيضا باخرة سياحية كبيرة جاية مسقط
ما
طبعا.
شاء الله.
هيوة، ففي أمل مجموعة من طلابنا أيضا موجودين فيها. نتأمل أنه يعني شوي يكون في عودة للسفن السياحية والبرامج السياحية اللي نتوقع أنها إن شاء الله بترجع يعني على بداية 2025.
عسى يا رب، عسى.
هاو.
ايوه.
وعاد كل في فلك يسبحون. الدكتور
احنا
محمد محمود.
احنا حاليا في الاسبوع 13.
نعم.
الاسبوع القادم 14، نفس الحال في التشطيبات النهائيه.
نعم. احنا عندنا الاسبوع هذا 12، الاسبوع القادم بيكون 13.
ايوه
لكن كما تعرف انه 13 يعني خلاص من تدخل انت بعد العشرة او الاسبوع العاشر، هي يعني الاسابيع اللي انا اسميها ان المحاضر يكون في خلف الكلاس والطلبه هم في الامام. يعني انت اول 10 اسابيع او 8 اسابيع تكون انت في الامام والطلبه في الخلف.
صحيح.
ريسيفرز يعني تكون اكثر. ف
بالضبط.
ايوه، ففي عندنا حقيقه يعني بعض الاعمال هذا الاسبوع شغالين ايضا مع عمران. مجموعه ايضا من الاكاديميين بيكونوا موجودين في متحف عمان عبر الزمان تاريخ 14.
ايوه
آه،
شفت الدعوه، جزاك الله خير. بس
بارك الله
للاسف.
فيكم. ما بتكون موجود.
للاسف يا اخي.
فهي معانا هاكاثون، بيكون هاكاثون عمران،
ايوه.
آه، متعلق بالأفكار السياحية. يعني بحيث أنها تكون كحاضنة للأفكار السياحية. الار دي جي عاملينها في عمران، اللي هو الريسيرش ديفلوبمنت يونت. ف بالتعاون مع جهاز الاستثمار العماني بيكون اليوم الأول يوم السبت في متحف عمان عبر الزمان، ثم 3 أيام بتكون عندهم ورش عمل تخصصية في الجبل الأخضر.
ممتاز.
هاو.
ممتاز.
وبيكون معاهم منتورينج، بيكون عندهم انكيوبيتورز، بيكون عندهم سيشنز، بيكون عندهم كل الاشياء المتعلقه بعمل اللي هو المشاريع السياحيه بيكونوا معاهم في المشروع، من الفيزيبيليتي ستادي الى الامبلمنتيشنز الى الاكسلريتورز،
حلو.
الانكوبيتورز، ماركتنج بلانز، كل الاشياء اللي يحتاجوها بيكونوا موجودين في عدد كبير مشارك. وايضا
حلو.
مشاركين وايضا من جهات كثيره يعني في هذا الموضوع.
ممتاز. عسى ان شاء الله الطلبه والمشاركين بيطلعوا
والله نتمنى ذلك.
افكار ترقى لش اسمه كمشاريع ان شاء الله، في تشوفها في المستقبل ان شاء الله.
لا نتمنى ذلك. وحقيقة يعني نتطلع أن يكون عندنا هذه الحاضنات في القطاع السياحي. تعرف أنت الحاضنات اليوم يعني هي الأبرز اللي ممكن أنت تقدم فيها مشاريع. و يعني العالم يتجه إلى هذا النوع من اللي هي الشركات المفردة، أو الأعمال الابتكارية الفردية في كل القطاعات، يعني حتى يسموها اليونيكورن فيرمز، اللي هي اللي أثبتت نجاحها الحين في العالم، يعني كمؤسسات ظهرت منها أوبر، وظهرت منها يعني اللي طلعت من سيليكون فالي، هذه الشركات المليارية واللي
ايوه
أثرت بشكل كبير على العالم، يعني والحين نشوفها يعني من سبيس اكس وغيرها. فجيد يعني يكون فيها استفادة يعني في هذا الموضوع. لكن يبقى أن المتابعة يعني continuous assessments، مثل ما صار عندنا في نجم أيضا، يعني مشروع جميل،
صحيح
ممكن نستفيدوا من المخرجات فيه، ويكون في مشاريع نوعية يعني في البلد.
صحيح. النقم ماشي يعني. أنا الحلو فيه انكم ما شاء الله كان في دعم كبير من عمران، من وزاره التراث والسياحه اتوقع كذلك.
هو الدعم موجود يعني باستمرار، هناك تنسيق يعني مع الجهات المعنية في هذا، إن كان من الإخوة في عمران أو من الإخوة في وزارة التراث والسياحة والجهات هذه. ونسأل الله تعالى يعني التوفيق حقيقة في هذا. لكن كما تعرف يعني تضافر الجهود، يعني اليوم احنا اليوم أحوج ما يكون للمثلث الذهبي، يعني المؤسسات القطاع العام والخاص، ومؤسسات المجتمع المدني، يجب أنها تكون كلها تشتغل بانسجام، يعني بحيث أنه الجميع يعمل لهدف واحد ولغاية واحدة. اليوم أنا موجود مع طلابي لعمل في جامعة السلطان قابوس، معانا بروفيسور من جامعة حلوان. هذه يعني التكاملية في العمل هي اللي تنجح
بالضبط.
أي مشروع أو أي عمل يعني يمكن نقدمه.
صحيح، اتفق معك. كنا نكمل بعض بالفعل. كنا
بارك الله
نكمل بعض.
فيكم دكتور، نتطلع للمحاضرة، وحقيقة يعني متشوق بشكل كبير استمع لأيام الزمن الجميل مع البروف، معالي الدكتور ماجد نجم.
اكيد
والله
اكيد.
يحفظه ويبارك فيه دائما، يعني يعطينا الطاقة كذا يعني والحماس.
صحيح صحيح. آه، دكتورة ماجدة، ممكن تحاولين تقربين
لا،
الصوت؟
الصوت كويس.
ايوه دكتورة ماجدة.
سامعني؟
ايوه.
يعني الصوت مسموع مش كده؟
ايوه مسموع.
تمام تمام تمام.
عندنا الحين ويبينار. قول لهم شو اسمه. ها؟ ما اذا الحين بيكون عندنا ويبينار.
اليوم بعد الويبينار ده هروح الجامعة، أوقع بعض الأوراق، وبعد كده ألحق طائرة طالعة إلى الأقصر، مدينة
ناس.
الأقصر.
انا بريدك تقربين الصوت عندك.
الصوت كويس.
انت صوت الدكتور معك ممتاز، بس نسمع تمام.
الصوت مسموع كويس دكتور حافظ.
ايوه مسموع.
تمام. أنا بقول
حط
بقول
بس.
لك بقول لدكتورة ماجدة إن بعد المحاضرة اليوم، يعني مجرد حسب للجامعة أوقع شوية أوراق،
ما شاء الله.
ثم أتوجه. عندي طيارة طالعة الأقصر، مدينة الأقصر في الجنوب في مصر.
ايوه ايوه ايوه.
وعندي محاضرة غدا عن الانتنجبل كالتشر هيريتج،
بس.
التراث اللامادي.
ايوه
كيف دكتور
وفنم
اسمه؟
ايوه مسموع مسموع دكتوره ماجده.
بس
التراث
يقرب
اللامادي، لان انت عارف دلوقتي اليونسكو يعني فتح الباب للي عايز يسجل آه، اشياء مش بالضروره تكون مواقع اثريه.
صحيح.
ممكن يكون يعني مثلا الحلوى العماني ممكن تسجلوها كتراث غير مادي، تخيل بقى.
ايوه
الحلوى العماني، الخنجر، في افكار كتيره. يعني احنا مصر لغايه دلوقتي سجلنا 10 ايتمز في التراث اللامادي في اليونسكو.
صحيح. هنا
بس انا في
في
السنوات
عمان.
الاخيره اصبحت خبير في اليونسكو في مجال التراث كمان. فالواحد بيحاول ينوع في الايه، في النشاطات بتاعته.
بالضبط. احنا دكتور في بعض الاشياء تم ضمها كجزء من الانتنجبل كلتشر هيريتج، مثل بعض الرقصات الشعبيه،
الرزحه مثلا.
الرزحه والعازي، وكذلك موضوع النخله.
الماضي شباب عمان ايضا بروف.
اللي هي بدر.
الأسبوع الماضي تم إدراج سفينة شباب عمان التابعة للبحرية السلطانية العمانية
حلو حلو.
ضمن السفن التي تنقل يعني الثقافة والمحبة والسلام للعالم، وتم إدراجها ضمن اليونسكو.
دلوقتي كايه، بس خد بالك انت اليونسكو في عندك التنجبل والانتنجبل، المادي، التراث المادي والتراث الغير المادي. يعني الافلاج ده تراث مادي، لكن لو قلنا مثلا الخنجر او الحلوى العماني ده تراث غير مادي. يعني وجبه او مأكول الكشري المصري، اللي راح مصر يعرف يعني إيه الكشري، طبعا انت عارف يحافظ عليه كشري في مصر،
اكيد اكلنا.
قد كشري. فالكشري ده سجل، تخيل.
هذا ذكرني بالوجبات اللي عندنا.
دكتوره ماجده ودكتور حافظ، هو الاتنديز كلهم عرب ولا في
لحظه
منهم
شوي.
اجانب؟ دكتوره ماجده سمعاني؟
أعتقد يحضروا دكتور الآن
طيب.
دقائق بتكون
لا انا
موجود.
بس كنت عايز اسال ليه بدر،
ش...
لان انت عارف خد بالك، يعني انا ايه المحاضره ان انجلش، لكن في بعض التعليقات ممكن تكون لطيفه تجذب المستمعين. لو تقول التعليق باللغه العربيه، لان احنا كعرب
بالضبط
بنقدر
بالضبط.
يبقى عندنا الافيه بيحكم شويه، غير ما كل يعني لو واحد بس اجنبي هيبقى كل السبيتش هيكون كله بالايه، بالانجليزي طبعا.
بالضبط بروف. لا، من طرفي أنا أغلب طلابنا عندهم اللغة العربية، يعني هم
عمانيين
من
كلهم عمانيين.
عمانيين، وعندنا ايضا من مصر، عندنا
ما
من
عندكش
الاردن.
هندي؟ ما عندكش هنود؟
لا لا، ما في، ما اعتقد،
انت عارف
ما
بنت الدكتور فتحي الله يرحمه كانت خريجه من عندكم بتهيألي.
ايه 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 من اسمها اعوذ بالله من الشيطان
هند.
الرجيم. هند. هند خريجة من الكلية وراحت المانيا تدرس
لا مش
ماجستير.
المانيا.
آه.
وانت الصادق، المانيا دي اسراء،
آه.
اسراء اللي هي الكبيره. وانا
نعم.
ناقشتها من حوالي سنه ونص في رساله الدكتوراه بتاعتها في المانيا.
ما شاء الله.
ذهبت في المانيا، دعوني في المانيا وانا كنت احد المناقشين في
نعم.
الدكتوراه بتاعتها. اما هند دي تزوجت وحاليا في امريكا مع زوجها.
نعم. لا،
والله
يمكن
اتاثرت لما رحت
بدون
عزيت
خلاف.
فيه. يا عيني دكتور فتحي كان بيعاني بقاله سنتين ما كانش بيتكلم، تخيل.
نعم. بروف، أنا تواصلت عنده قبل يمكن شهرين أو أقل، يعني من الخبر اللي وصلنا، يعني كالعادة أسلم عليه وأطمن عليه وكذا، وما ذكر لي أبدا أي شيء. يعني ذكر لي أنه يعني سلم لي على الزملاء
لا لا لا،
والأحبة
انا ما اقل
ونقاش
شيء،
كذا.
انا ما قاليش اي حاجه. لان انا صدمت مش فوجئت، فرق بين فوجئت وفرق بين صدمت.
نعم.
وانت اول واحد حملت الخبر لينا.
نعم، أنا كنت بنفسي ما مصدق، يعني كان جاني رسل لي شخص يتأكد، يعني قلت له والله ما أعرف، يعني أنا الأسبوع قبل شهرين يعني كنت متواصل عنده. فقال لي لا، الخبر صحيح، وتميت أبحث فعلا في مع أصدقاء أو كذا في الفيسبوك، وفعلا وجدت الخبر صحيح، يعني للأسف الشديد، والله
لا هو
يرحمه.
كان جاله يا عيني كانسر وقعد يعالج منه سنتين،
نعم.
كما حكى لي ابنه محمود
نعم.
لما رحت عزيت.
نعم.
محمود ابنه يعني هو في استراليا، محمود كان بيدرس في
السلام
في
عليكم.
قصر. عليكم السلام دكتوره معصومه.
أهلا دكتور، كيف
كيف
الحال؟
حالك دكتوره معصومه، كيف احوالك؟
الحمد لله تمام، الله يسلمك.
الله يخليك
منور
ويبارك فيك.
منور يا دكتور، منور
الله
الشركة.
يخليك، منوره بوجودكم كلكم يا دكتوره.
الله يخليك، تسلم تسلم.
الله يخليك دكتوره معصومه.
بدر كيفك، أخبارك؟
الحمد
طيب.
لله دكتورة، الحمد لله نشكر الله تعالى.
مع صوتك الإذاعي ما شاء الله، بس
الله
يعني.
يعطيك العافية، حاضرين
الله يعافيك، الله يعافيك.
بروف ماجد لو تبارك للدكتورة معصومة أيضا، لو إنها متأخرة دكتورة ونبغى عزيمة.
إيه، كأنك باركت لي يعني، كأنك
ها؟
باركت لي على
صارت
اعتبار
وكيل
إنك
وزاره ولا
باركت لي
شيء؟
يعني.
ها؟
على
صارت وكيل
اعتبار
وزاره.
إنك.
على المنصب الأكاديمي.
لا، على
ما شاء
الترقية
الله.
الأكاديمية، الترقية
ها؟
الأكاديمية دكتور.
طب
الترقية
طب
الأكاديمية.
فرحينا دكتوره معصومه.
يستاهلك الخير دكتورة، الله يحفظك.
الترقية الأكاديمية إلى أستاذ مشارك دكتور.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. الف
ف
الف مبروك دكتوره معصومه.
يعني بدر ما باركليش، بس دلوقتي بيقول لك عايز عزومة، إزاي يعني؟
الله
بصي
يحفظك.
بدر، في شويه من الدم المصري في الحته الايه الافيهات والحاجات دي.
بيعمل حركات كده
يعني ساعات
يعني.
بحس انه عماني وساعات بحس انه ايه
مصري.
مصري شقي شويه.
آه. يا أهلا وسهلا
تفضل.
بحضرتك.
لا
تلاميذك
دكتوره الف
دكتورة.
الف مبروك.
الله يبارك في حضرتك، الله يبارك فيك.
انا قلت يعني التهنئه، قلت خلاص دي وكيله بقى، وكيل وزاره السياحه ولا شيء بقى خلاص.
إن شاء الله إن شاء الله، ليه لا.
لا طبعا، لا احسن منك يعني.
الله يخليك يا دكتور، تسلم تسلم.
انا هنا في مصر سعيد ان بعض الناس العمداء اللي كانوا معايا اتصعدوا بقى وزراء عندنا في مصر هنا يعني. وزير الثقافه المصري الجديد هو دكتور احمد هنو، ده كان
آه.
عميد كليه الفنون الجميله
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله.
واختار وزير للثقافه.
مم. حاجة
وكان
جميلة.
قبليه الدكتور خالد العناني، وده كان
كان من كلية، من
كان
الجامعة
المعيد
عندي.
بتاعي، كان المعيد بتاعي.
أيوة، ما أنا
فعشان
قابلته في
كده
الكلية.
المعيدين يعني ايه يبشروا خيرا، اللي كانوا معيدين يبشروا بالوزاره يا دكتوره مجدي. دكتوره مجدي مش موجوده
الله
الظاهر.
دكتور، الله يسمع منك.
ما هو خالد العناني كان معيدي في يوم من
أيوة أيوة.
الايام، وحضرته طالب ثم معيد ثم دكتور فوزير.
يلا القدر موكل بالمنطق دكتور.
لا ننسى أيضا معالي الدكتور ماجد، أيضا دكتور أنت في يوم من الأيام يعني تقلدت أعلى المناصب حقيقة شرفية واللي نفخر فيها، يعني أنت وصلت إلى يعني رئيس جامعة حلوان.
وقعدت فيها 6 سنين، قعدت فيها مكثت فيها
و...
6 سنين.
ولفترة يعني ولفترة طويلة، وفي فترة يعني حرجة جدا وحساسة، يعني تتطلب أن تكون
فتره
رجل.
الكورونا كانت عندنا
أيام
فتره الكورونا.
كورونا، يعني
اه
كنت حقيقة رجل الموقف ورجل
الحمد
الساعة.
لله الحمد لله الحمد لله يعني. بس يعني ساظل يعني انا ببص لمسيرتي الاكاديميه 40 عام. تخيلوا اطول منصب جلست فيه كان ايه، منصب ايه؟ كل المناصب اللي خدتها دي.
جامعة
إيه،
السلطان قابوس، رئاسة القسم.
رئاسه قسم السياحه في جامعه سلطان
جامعة
قابوس.
ما
السلطان
شاء
قابوس.
الله.
مم.
7 سنوات. 7 سنوات. بينما رئاسه الجامعه كانت 6 سنوات. يعني تيجي في المرتبه الايه؟ الثانيه.
رقم اثنين.
في العماده يا دوبك خدت عام ونص، ما طولت في العماده قوي. في مساعد عميد خدت عامين الا شهرين او شهر.
ما شاء الله.
فكلها كانت فترات ايه، صغيره صغيره صغيره، باستثناء فتره رئاسه جامعه حلوان 6 سنوات، ورئاسه قسم السياحه في جامعه سلطان قابوس 7 سنوات. وكان زمان غير ايامكم، كان الرئاسه لسنتين وتجدد لفتره واحده. فكان التجديد الثالث ليا كان استثنائي من مجلس الجامعه. وخدت عام في الاول قائم بعمل رئيس قسم. ذكريات وايام.
إيه، الدكتور علي موجود؟ دكتور علي، دكتور علي الريامي موجود؟
صديق عزيز دكتور علي حقيقي.
ايوه موجود.
قسم التاريخ.
بالضبط.
هو طلب منه انه يدخل يسلم
لا
عليك.
صديق جميل، صديق جميل دكتور علي الريامي.
كان عنده مشكله في الصوت.
آه. انا برضو ما انسى في 2 او 3 في حياتي تنبؤوا لي ان هتبوأ منصب رئيس جامعه. مين واحد فيهم؟
دكتور
دكتور عصام
عصام.
الرواس. بتاع دكتور
ايوه.
عصام. فمرحله من المراحل قال لي بص بقول لك ايه، ارجع بلدك بقى وجامعتك، وهترجع تبقى رئيس الجامعه هناك. لما كنت انا اخر عام عامين كنت يعني زي ما بيقولوا ايه، كنت ارجع اكمل في السلطنه جامعه ولا ارجع. اخر اللي يمكن كانوا قريبين مني في اخر عامين، وحتى ماجده كانت يعني من الناس اللي كانت على طول معايا في اخر سنه سنه ونص بعد ما اتعينت معيده. فكنت تلاحظي حتى دكتوره ماجده ان يعني كنت ايه ما بينه وبين. وكل شيء يعني مقدر ومكتوب.
صحيح.
نبدأ دكتور أفضل.
ايوه.
شايفينه.
عندنا في عندنا قناة اليوتيوب وعندنا الزوم.
تمام
في
يعني خلاص انا اوكي انا ام ريدي.
إن شاء الله
ان
ببدأ
شاء
من
الله.
أقدم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Good morning, everyone, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and dear students. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this special gathering organized by the Tourism Department at Sultan Qaboos University. Today, we are honored to have among us a truly remarkable individual whose vision and dedication laid the foundation for what our department stands for today. Please join me in warmly welcoming our esteemed guest, the founder and the former or the first head of the tourism department, Professor Magid Negim. With his leadership and commitment to fostering tourism education in Oman, have left an unforgettable and long-lasting mark on this institution, Sultan Qaboos University. Today, it is our privilege to have him back among us to share his insights and wisdom. I will introduce Dr. Magid briefly. He's well-known, of course. He had his doctorate degree from Liverpool University from the UK and a fellowship of arts from the same university. He's the former president of Helwan University, Cairo in Egypt. After being the vice president of Helwan University for postgraduate and research, and also for community services and environmental development. He was also the dean of faculty of tourism and hotel management, Helwan University, and he had multiple international educational contribution, among them, like for example, he's a member of German Archaeological Institute in Berlin since 2013. He's recently selected as chairman of the promotion committee for the posts of professors and assistant professors at the Supreme Council of Universities Egypt. And moreover, he is also a reviewer at some international journals. He is also a member of the Evaluation Committee, Science and Technology Development Fund, the Ministry of Higher Education in Egypt, from 2008 until now. Introducing the topic that Dr. Professor Magid will highlight today. As you know, that the world of tourism has always been a dynamic and evolving field, shaped by cultural exchange, technological advancement, and the ever-changing preferences of travelers. In recent years, however, digitalization has emerged as both transformative force and a difficult challenge in the tourism industry. As you know, the technology has enhanced the accessibility, convenience, and global reach. It has also raised concerns about the over-reliance, the loss of authentic experiences, and privacy issues, and the growing dominance of global platforms at the expense of local stakeholders. These are critical issues that require thoughtful discourse and innovative solution, which Professor Majid today, inshallah, will delve into the pressing topic of the negative impact of digitalization in tourism. Welcome again, Dr. Majid, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. My dear colleague, Dr. Magda Salti, the head of the tourism department at Sultan Qaboos University. Dear colleagues, Dr. Hafiz, Dr. Matsouma, and Dr. Badr. and other attendees. It's really my pleasure, and it's really my great pleasure, not just pleasure, to be again, after 16 years of leaving the Sultan Qaboos University, to deliver this topic after a generous invitation from my colleague, Dr. Magda, for this topic. In fact, it's really my great pleasure to be with you and among you today. In fact, the idea of the topic of this lecture is coming after I attend the first lecture, which had been delivered about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago by Dr. Noel. That's right, Dr. Hafiz. His name is Dr. Noel. And in fact, he was talking about the tourism experience and the tourist experience. And he stressed in many slides about the amount of experience that each tourist should actually carry on his way back home. And as we are all aware that digitalization is rapidly now being involved in every aspect of life. Fine. There is definitely a positive impact of digitalization and AI, or artificial intelligence, in many fields of life. However, in the field of tourism in particular, we are actually cautious about the spread using of digitalization because it will affect many areas. And among of these areas is the tourism education, which we are all here responsible for. If we actually going to use digitalization, this will have many negative impacts. And let me start straightforward to the presentation, and then we'll have some small YouTube film I'm going to deliver also, and we're going to receive the comments after the lecture. I wonder if you see now this, Dr. Hafiz, is it really, you can see the presentation now? Dr. Hafiz?
Yes, yes, Doctor, it's clear.
Yes. The name of the topic is Negative Impact of Digitalization in Tourism Industry by Magid Neg. Let us start with these words. Tourism is about people interfacing with other people. I think this is possibly what we call a local definition, or a definition that had been possibly designed by me or other colleagues, but not the formal definition, of course, which have been issued by the WTO. Tourism is about people interfacing with other people. No matter how good your technology may be, we don't care about technology. Technology does not provide the human warmth, the human touch, the human interact of take-home experience. And again, I stress that we should carry lots of memories and experience on our way back home after we visit such a particular destination. Be mindful that tourism is about the sailing of memories. And then ask yourself, at what point are you willing to sacrifice memories for efficiency? You're looking for memories, or you need something on a high level of efficiency or luxurious issues? Of course, in my point of view, I have to return it back home with memories. And this is one of the factors that depends on the ecotourism. And the ecotourist, he is living in the remote areas, in a very modest lodge. And sometimes there's no internet, no Wi-Fi, nothing to enjoy, and at the same time to take the experience of the country that you visit. I'm just selecting many destinations like Egypt, France, Italy, United States, India. Let me start this tape, which is about only 2.5 minutes. Right, back again. I'm sure that all of you have lots of questions to ask about the way that this man behaved, the lonely experience hotel that this man had been left. It's really a surprise. I myself, and I think that many people would be surprised to find that they are on their own in a hotel. The rail here that we actually see to all of you today now, we can find that we are not criticized or even sarcastic from the tube, rather than we have many points. Number one, it actually what we call miss the warmth of the hospitality. Hospitality means warm welcoming. This is one of the what we call the translation of what I mean by hospitality. Hospitality is that you have to feel the personal touch. This is important. And on the other side, I'm really actually I'm wondering how the plates came to me in the restaurant and just take it from the robot. I can't find actually that this gentleman he is walking like a robot. And when he asking for a bottle of water, I'm sure that many of you notice that there are 3 or 4 bottles of water on the tea corner in the room. Number 3, he didn't change his cloth. For 2 or 3 days, he is wearing the same sweatshirt and the trousers, the same cloth. Number 4, nobody in the gym. I think that everybody of us, once he is going to the gym, he needs to talk with people, to interact with people, to talk, to have fun, to even have joke with people while practicing in the gym. I found him lonely in the gym. This is not tourism. This is not even the human touch. Before actually talking about the disadvantage, I have to talk about the advantage, because I have to be balanced among the advantage and disadvantage of IT or AI in the field of tourism. In fact, the internet has become an important part of people's lives. People are able to share information in their remote locations through personal computers, cell phones, emails, and the internet in real time. Fine, we are all agree about that. The capability that has come with technology has been manifested in major sectors of economics. And we all know that tourism and hospitality are, or a sector is one of the sectors of economics that require adequate marketing across the globe. With the internet in place, this has been achieved with ease and low costs. Business has hosted different sites that they use to advertise their products and service to the entire world. They are able to tailor the needs of the customer accordingly. I just here summarize 4 points of some benefits of digitalization or IT or AI. Now we can use both expression. I know there is difference between IT and AI, but in my point of view, they are completing each other. There are actually 17 downsides of digital technology. Here I've chosen some pictures represent some people with the metaverse, as you can see, and it looks funny. Now we reach to our topic. How does digitalization affect tourism? One of the disadvantages that technology has brought in the industry is that it has caused unemployment. Really. And this is really sad. After you spend 4 years, for example, to get a bachelor degree, and you possibly complete a master in your institute or in your entity, and you found yourself simply with no job. Why? That many people worked in the hotels and as managers, waiters, cooks, as well as those in the tourism industry, such as tour guides, lost or will lose their jobs to cut the cost of artificial intelligence. I can't actually imagine that I depended on the headphones while visiting a museum or while visiting uh, just a site like one of the Oman forts or castles, or in the pyramids here in Egypt, or in the Great Museum or the Grand Museum, the new Grand Museum in Cairo here. I can't actually imagine myself just only dependent on the headphone and what is the tape just to repeat ever now and then. That's fine. But, and I think that we have here our colleague Badr, and he is specialized now in tour guides, will share me this opinion that with tourist guide, in principle, should have you feel a human touch. You possibly have a question, and this question or this inquiry will come all of a sudden. Somebody will tell me, going to GPT, no, this is not true. In this case, it needs what we call the body language will help. Eye contact will help. I can't actually imagine that I'm talking with somebody I'm not actually seeing. And this is the numbers which I'm talking about. But I'm talking here about the unemployment. Lots of jobs, or lots of people will lose their jobs. This is important. This is very important issue. The social disconnect. There is, in fact, an increasing tendency for people to socialize and communicate via digital devices rather than through real-life contact. This can easily lead to the sense of disconnect and isolation. Actually, always stress that it makes me feeling that I am an autism case. Human beings have evolved over thousands of years to have real contact. So taking that way affects them in all sorts of negative ways that we are only just beginning to understand. And this is, again, one of the side effects in this context of the social disconnect, that the studies have suggested that the lack of real-life contact is causing depression, really, yes, and other forms of mental illness in many people who don't like our tourists after back from Oman or from Egypt or from any other country to go to a psychiatrist after returning back, because this sort of digitalization will make him or make her feel disappointed, a sort of depression, because he missed people. I really actually like the way that Dr. Noel or Prof. Noel, Dr. Hafiz, in his lecture, in his first lecture, when he's dressing in Omani Dishdash and staying in Nizwa, I think, or Misrat al-Abriyin, that's fine. He received an experience. And everybody of us, for example, if one of us as an Arab tourist visits Scotland, for example, he is keen to wear what we call the Scottish skirts. It is an experience to wear a Scottish skirt. This is one of the issues. Or to use for example, in France, every country has its own ambiance, and you need to get experience from that. With digitalization, as we see in this tape, there is no social disconnect. And you noticed, of course, that only two of the staff just say goodbye to the guest on his way back. I don't need this goodbye. I need a welcome smile. I need what we call a welcome drink. For example, one of the good experience which we received in Omani hotel, before you check in, they offered you some drinks and some dates and coffee, serving you coffee, like in El Bustan Palace Hotel or any other hotel. I don't mean Oman in particular, but in all of the hotels in Oman or in Egypt or any other countries. And you need to contact with people and always say, that if you have you should have an experience with people. With digitalization, there will be absence of sort of social disconnect. I don't mean with the staff working in the field of tourism, no, but also with people in the street. I don't like tourists just using GPS and using his cell phone or mobile phone to look for everything. I need to stand in the street and say, hello, how are you? Would you please help me? I need to go to this. This is a sort of social contact we all need and we are all looking for in our tourist experience. How does digitalization also affect tourism? Data security. This is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. For the first 2 points, I was talking about unemployment, and this will also affect the number, of course, of students that we received in tourism institutes, whether in Oman or in Egypt or in Lebanon or any other countries. And the other one is the social disconnect. This one is very dangerous. Digital technology means that the vast amounts of data can be collected and stored. This can be private information concerning individual or even organization. It can be very difficult to keep this data safe. Just a single breach can mean vast amount of private information going into the hands of criminals, maybe terrorists, possibly business rivals, most likely foreign adventurers or other malignant entities. You will not be secured. The large amount or huge amount of data technology will be in danger. Job insecurity. I actually, when I prepare this lecture, I choose the right photo or right image to meet what's have been written in the text. Job insecurity. It used to be that you had to be physically present at the workplace to do a job. But nowadays, many work tasks are performed remotely via the internet, working from home. It became now what we called normal to hear that, hey, how are you? No, I'm working from home today. Fine, but not in the field of tourism. This has caused huge changes to how people live and work. One example being the increase in people working from home. It also became an economic manifestation, as it means that workers in developing countries with low wages can be used by employees instead of workers in wealthier countries for certain jobs. And I mean, in our countries, we are the first line of people who actually been affected from this job insecurity. Increasingly, humans are not need at all for many tasks, as computers gradually replace them. Driving and delivery jobs, for instance, will disappear soon as vehicles become automated. Work overload. Many modern workers spend their days trying to keep up with the hundreds of emails that were sent each week, all of which require reading and some of which require replies or actions. And you can see this poor man who was sitting in front of the screen, and I think that he had to reply for hundreds of emails, and his body language actually explained his situation. Text from colleagues in the evening or on the weekends can mean that people never fully escape from work. I mean this for the limited number of staff who are working in this field. Organizing the vast amount of digital data acquired in some jobs, such as the minutes of meetings, training videos, photographs, reports, and instruction, can also be a huge headache. Let us talk about this image or this photo, which actually means complexity. Because the image sees that you are, once you get in, you don't know how you can even return it back to your point of entry, not to exit. For this reason, I choose this image as what we call the reclam for complexity. We no longer understand the working of the device and the machines that we interact with on a daily basis. Fixing a modern car now means interacting with the computer. It's no longer just mechanical. Yes, we are aware of that. Using phone can involve taking all sorts of complicated settings. Minor glitches in the operation of the laptop can cost both time and experience. To give more space for discussion, I have to actually end the 20 or 25 minutes talk that if we are smart enough to use the benefits of technology, such as convenience, speed, and accuracy, and avoid some of the pitfalls, user-friendliness, size of lettering, and lack of human contact, that technology can be great time and cost saving. Thank you, all of the team attendees. Thank you, my colleagues, and I hope that you actually enjoy the lecture. And I'm ready for any inquiries, any questions. And the floor again is yours, Dr. Malik.
Many thanks, Dr. Prof, for this valuable information. I will start with a question. For example, looking forward, how do you envision the role of technology evolving in tourism, and what safeguards should be in place to prevent its negative effects that you have mentioned in the presentation?
This is a very important question, Dr. Magda. In fact, we have to be balanced because nobody can stop the revolution of digitalization and AI. But we have to be balanced and smart enough to be balanced among this. For example, we can actually put some rules and we can actually nominate some services to be fully digitalization. But at the same time, we have to fight to defend ourselves from the invading of technology to the other sector. For example, I know that people in the airlines agents will get angry with me when I said, now you can book your ticket easy now from home. You can book your ticket. You can even pay your ticket from home. This actually cut lots of jobs, people who used to work in the airlines, for example. But on the other side, in the field of hospitality, this is very, very difficult. You need the welcome smile at the beginning of your spending at the hotel. You need to contact with the receptionist. There is actually what we call the people who is actually specialized in hotel management. And you already all studied Introduction to Hospitality, that there is what we call a title of what we call relation manager in the hotel, or guest manager, just guest manager. He's sitting at the front line in a desk, and he just stay welcoming and receiving the questions and inquiries and even complaints from people. For example, if you have complaints in the hotels, I think that if you have complaints in the hotels, I think this will need somebody in person to talk with. In the field of tour guides, absolutely, it's a human touch field. It's totally human touch. I cannot actually depend on what we call the headphones in museum or in heritage sites. I cannot. You need to contact all of the time with the tour guide. because, as I mentioned to you some 20 years ago, that the tour guide is sometimes considered as an ambassador. And he is a person who possibly stayed longer time with tourists rather than any other staff in the field. Simple. My answer is simply, Dr. Magda, is we have to be balanced and we have to be smart to snatch some positive impact and to defend our industry and our staff, and also to keep our guests, I mean the tourists, feel home. Feeling home is not a matter of coming by what we call digitalization.
Thank you, Dr. Magid. Completing the next part, because we are now required by the university to adapt the AI in the tourism courses, the emerging technology. What role do you think academic institutions and policymakers should play in addressing the challenges of digitalization in tourism? Because now we are asking students how to use AI in your graduation project, how to use or adapt the emerging technologies. At the same time, we need to create long-lasting experience for the tourist.
Again, I'm going to stress again, Dr. Magda, that we have to be balanced. In the education system, also we have to follow the AI and the technology at the same time. But this will not actually going to interfere with the curriculum of the courses that have been delivered. Okay, that's fine. To use the AI in the graduation project, that's fine. But again, my advice here is to have to be balanced between the disadvantage and the advantage of the AI, because possibly young people as undergraduate students will possibly have no sense of the what we call the slight difference in these issues. For this reason, we have, as I mentioned, we have to stress and advise them about the disadvantage. Then I know that the younger generation are smart enough to pick the idea and then use that in their graduation. And also when you design a curriculum for the undergraduate or even postgraduate student. In the meantime, you can actually suggest, Dr. Magda, and I know that you are now a postgraduate section in the tourism department, then you can actually raise the issue of the digitalization in the tourism industry. You can actually suggest a topic for thesis. This, I think, make the scholar or the researcher to deep in research and to find what is the advantage and disadvantage. And I think that any researcher in this field will fight to the employment and secure the number of jobs for his colleague and for himself.
Thank you, Prof. We welcome any question from the participant.
I see Dr. Masuma and Amani El-Belushi, or Amin El-Belushi.
Can I start?
Ask the moderator, Dr. Magda.
Yes, Dr. Amina. Go ahead.
You can start, Dr. Masuma, if you'd like.
لا خلاص الميكروفون عندك.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Majid, and welcome again. Nice to hear from you. Thank you, Dr. Majda, for organizing this session, and actually a very important subject. The digitalization, it's an issue. Sometimes they say that it's a tool can support tourism industry, but on the other side, there are lots of disadvantages and negative impacts of it. In fact, one of the solutions which it has been discussed in related to the impact of tourism on the environment, or the general issues of the environment now and environmental concerns, they are suggesting virtual reality as a tool for the tourists to visit places or tourist destinations or tourist sites like museums, forts, castles, different tourism destinations from their places virtually, as a way that can contribute in decreasing the tourism contribution to CO2 emission. So through the tourist using transport, moving from place to place, which is affecting the environment. So now they are suggesting to use these tools in order to decrease the impact of tourism on the environment. What do you think about this message, Professor?
Right. Thank you very much for your long inquiry. But let me start from the end, that the effect of tourism on the environment. We are all aware that there is some negative impact of tourism on environment. For example, here in Egypt, the increasing number of tourists who visit the pharaonic tombs in Luxor, for example, and Aswan in Upper Egypt, this is the most crowded areas with the monuments in Egypt. And this is definitely a fact. But there are many other ways rather than the virtual reality. Virtual reality, in fact, will kill the experience at home. Definitely. Because if a tourist really need a sort of experience and the memories, virtual reality is not an ideal for him. Virtual reality could be what we call clear that and suitable for old ages. For example, if I passed 70 years, okay, that's fine. Instead to go to Australia, I can have a virtual reality to visit Australia because I have a sort of problem with my knee, or I have a problem with heart problems, etc. But again, still, the middle age and young age and even early old age needs a real experience, not a virtual reality, a real again experience. And it's not actually, and I think that we should have studies. And this is actually just, it came to me now, this idea. And I suggest that to Dr. Magda, that we have, if we can design a questionnaire to spread among the tourists in their tour, and can possibly Mr. Badr al-Duhali could help you in that, about the digitalization. You can have a questionnaire among the tourists themselves and see and look at their vision, or to see their point of view in this case. This would also help. But I'm not worrying about the effect of tourism on the environment, rather than I'm worrying about the, what we call, that one day tourism will lose its human essence. Tourism is, and again, as I mentioned in my first slide, is meaning people interfering with other people. But real virtual reality or IT or metaverse or blum, blum, blum. For example, I'm sorry to say that here in Egypt, I heard somebody said, why we were going to make Hajj with metaverse? This is something ridiculous, for example. And you know that, for example, of course, Hajj is something very sacred and at the top. And this is what we call religious tourism. And you can see that people actually at young age, middle age, or even early old age, we should have what we call a real experience.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. My dear colleague, Dr. Masuma, I see that she raised her hand.
أيوة دكتور.
أهلا
أهلا بك. طبعا thank you very much Prof. Majid for this lecture. It's really very informative, and this topic is very critical topic. I mean, as you mentioned the negative impact of the digitalization. However, we cannot deny that there are lots of positive impact of digitalization, especially when it comes to the tourist experience as well, because it makes, you know, the life of tourists is much easier. My question is, you know, what one of the challenges that's facing the tourism industry due to the digitalization is the over tourism. So how do you think that the digitalization contributed to the over tourism phenomena, and what do you think about the challenges that might present for the local communities and the ecosystem because of this?
Thank you very much for your question also. In fact, and it is my personal point of view, Dr. Masuma, it's not my entity point of view, that in my point of view, I don't like the expression of over-tourism. You know, for example, how many tourists that France received last year, 2023? Around 100 million. 100 million tourists. It's according to the statistics of WTO. This, from my point of view or other people point of view, will regard this as an over-tourism. As long as you can spread this tourist in all of the areas of the country, you will not face what we call an over-tourism.
Yeah.
For example, in a country like Egypt, for example, we have many destinations. This will serve what we call culture tourism. This will serve recreational tourism. This will serve leisure tourism. That's fine. And you can just make what we call exchange destination with other. It needs what we call a sort of centralization in organizing this sort of programs. I know, for example, that people coming for what we call recreational tourism in Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh, and you know, and you are aware of the case of Egypt as a destination for tourists. Fine, but why not going to provide them with a couple of days in Luxor, which is only 2.5 hours driving or 3 hours from Hurghada to Luxor? Fine. This was going to make a balance about the number of tourists that the country received. And what we call, you can see the top 5 of the countries like France, USA, Spain, Italy, and UK. It is the top 5 countries in the with the receiving number of tourists, what we call tourism arrival. They are all either in Europe or in the States. And they are actually dependent on it as what we call an international income. A country like France, they have many other branches like industry, like agriculture, like many other industries can help, but at the same time, it still depends on tourism. And they don't like what we call the over tourism.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Welcome, Dr. Masuma.
I only have another, it's like a comment or
yes, please.
Yeah, you know, from the hospitality perspective, Prof, you mentioned that, you know, the inter I mean connection or the you know, the communication between the guest and the staff at the hotels is very important. And you know, if, as you mentioned, that if we lose this, then is like we are losing, you know, the authenticity of the hotel industry. I mean, in
Yes.
that video that we have watched is the person was walking by himself. You know, these days in some of the hotels that they call them the smart hotels, they are using what they call it the auto check-in and the auto check-out. Where you can do your check-in by yourself, even from the airport or at some of the airports, and then you also do your check-out by yourself through the machines, you know, like the ATM machines. I know this is, in a way, is going to facilitate or even, you know, make as I said, the life of the tourist is a bit much easier if he is in a hurry or he needs to do that in a quick way. But we are losing one of the most important things in the tourist experience or the tourism experience that we are gathering when we travel somewhere. We need to talk to people, we need to see them, we need to see how they talk, even how they pronounce their words, you know, their faces, their expressions, lots of things. So I think by
language.
exactly, and there are lots of things we cannot, you know, do them by, like, you know, those auto systems. Then we are not going to gain this kind of experience, like when we are in direct contact either with the local people at the place or with the staff at the hotel. So I think it's yeah, they can use this kind of systems in some way, to like the digitalization, but they still, as you mentioned, that they still need to balance this. Yeah, you cannot depend on them completely, but you just need to take the very good things from them, the advantages, and we need to try to focus more on how really we can engage the tourist in the place that he is visiting. That's just
Thank you for your comment, and I think that we are agree, and both you and me agree in that issue, Dr. Masuma. And you actually also stressed on how to be balanced, for
Yeah.
example. But let me tell you that I could be in a hurry once I check out, but I need hospitality and warm welcoming and a sort of welcoming, real welcome and warm welcome once I arrived at the hotel.
Right.
Possibly
Right.
on the way to check out, I am in a hurry. I have need to catch a taxi or the coach which will take me to the airport. That's fine.
It's
But
going
once
to
you,
be
but
even
once
the
you arrive,
impression. Yeah.
you need to socialize with the guest relation manager. You need to socialize with the receptionist, and you need actually to talk with them and to feel a real hospitality, and hospitality equal warm welcome. Warm
Right.
welcome.
Welcome. Right. Right. Thank you very much. Thank you
You're
very much.
welcome, Dr. Masuma. I noticed earlier, Dr. Magda, that Mr. Badr Zali also wants to give a question or to comment.
Yes, please, Mr. Badr.
Thank you very much, Dr. Majd. It's really good to talk about AI and technologies when it comes, especially it's a very controversial topic here in the area of tourism. Your Excellency, Dr. Majid, thank you very much for the very informative talk and the insights that you highlighted about the technologies and digitalizations. And just would like to add where nothing can be added more than what you have said.
No, please,
Especially when it comes to tour guiding. I mean, we cannot deny the importance of having the human interaction with the tourists. I mean, the personalized experience that maybe the tourist guide or the person who stands in the front line when they meet or encounter tourists give these experiences for the tourists. The cultural authenticity, where I think 1 week or 2 weeks ago, we had also a similar session with an academician from Australia, who also highlighted that the human interaction can give the best and the maximum experience of authenticity when the tourists visit any cultural attraction or cultural destination, where you highlighted, Prof. Majid, Nazwa or Jabal Akhdar, when tourists interact with local community, the tourist guide give them the cultural touches of this area. Also, the group ages. It's very important here to mention that the human interaction with the age groups of tourists traveling, either teenagers or children or even senior citizens, till now they need the human interaction either with the tourist guide or even the escort. At the moment where I'm talking, we have a cruise ship, Muscat. I'm expecting this cruise ship to request less than the number we received of requests in 2019, 2018, due to what some people think that the digitalization impacts or the technologies maybe replace the tourist guides. We received almost as double as the number of tourist guide we had in 2019. The reason behind that, most of the people, this is just to confirm what Dr. Majid said earlier, that people now, they want to get rid of technologies because technology always with them now, and they want to get rid of it when they travel, and they want to see more of the human interaction with the tourists, with the local community or the hosting community, where they have more emotional connections, flexibility and adaptability with the tourist guide when they go, or even they can find alternatives. And also many of the tourists nowadays, they feel the sustainability and the responsibility to the hosting communities, where they like to use locals, they like to use the cultural products that the hosting community have, either the tourist guide or the escort or even the tour leader whenever they travel. Just to confirm that what Prof. Majid said, we still need the human touch, the human interaction. Digitalization has a lot of impacts, but it's still in tourism, we need the human interactions on that. Thank you, Prof. Majid, and thank you, Dr.
You're welcome.
For this informative session.
Thank you very much, my dear friend, Badr. And I would like also to stress on what issues, and I raise this issue to Dr. Magda, since she is the head of the tourism department, that this lecture could be just we open the door for people to more contribute and more share this point of view about the negative impact of digitalization. We are not actually a step backward, but at the same time, we are keen about two issues. Let us be frankly speaking. One issue is our issues. People who working as a staff in the tourist entities worldwide, not in Oman, not in Egypt, worldwide, in Spain, in UK, in France, and at the same time, about tourism experience. And I think that if we open the door for topics for the master degree in your department, Dr. Magda, this will actually, you find lots of ideas and lots of deep researching in this issue. And why not? We can actually going to publish articles in one of the highly reputed journals or periodicals about this issue. And I am sure that it makes no difference between the European and the Arabian origins in these issues, or Australian. For example, I'm Egyptian, and I'm actually complete and agree with the idea of Dr. Noel from Australia. How far is Australia from Egypt? But we share the same point of view. We are all share the worrying about the future, not our future as a staff or the people who are working in the area of tourism, but also about the future of tourism in our country. With Dr. Masouma, with Amina Al-Belushi talking about the real virtual reality. No, we're actually going this one of the countries we're going to fight against that, not Egypt or even Oman. No, France will fight against that, because it means tourism for France means income, means money, means euros for France, even for in Germany. And I know that many of you already visited Germany, and you know how important also is the area of tourism to Germany. And lots of universities in Germany now, Badr, actually start launching programs for heritage management and site management. All of this needs human interaction. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Many thanks, Dr. Magid, for sharing this profound insights about the digitalization and this negative impact on tourism. At the end, I would like to thank everyone who joined us via Zoom and the YouTube channel. And to conclude that we cannot call it sweet memories if it is all about digitalization, and if our memories, they don't have the social and human interaction, so we cannot call it sweet memories. At the end, I would like to thank you, and big thank to you, Dr. Magid, for this profound insights about the digitalization and the negative impact of digitalization on tourism. On behalf of the tourism department, Sultan Qaboos University, we thank you. Big thank from our department, from my colleagues, from the college, from the university. We are really happy today to have you again as a speaker, sharing with us your insights in the industry. Many thanks, Dr. Magid.
You're welcome, Dr. Magda. As I mentioned again at the beginning of the session, that it's really my pleasure that to participate with you and to share with you this lecture today. And this actually returned back to me some 20 years ago, when I actually delivered the lectures of the introduction to tourism or other topics that we used to teach when I was the head of the tourism department. That was about 24 years ago, as I mentioned to Badr at the beginning of the session. But after a few days, you can celebrate, Dr. Magda, next year, what we call the 25th anniversary of establishing the Department of Tourism. Because we're starting actually launching the programs and the curriculum, all of these issues in the year 2000. And 2001, we officially opened the department, and I'm really happy. I'm happy, not just it's my pleasure. I'm really happy to be among all of you today. And thank you very much for your generous invitation to share this. And I'm ready for any other topics that I can deliver. And I suppose to talk about heritage for any future topics, inshallah, Dr. Magid. Thank you very much again for you. Thank you, my dear Dr. Hafiz. Thank you, Dr. Masouma. And congratulations again. Alf Mabruk.
Allah يبارك فيك. شكرا
Thank you, my dear friend Badr Zali and Amina Lublushi. Thank you very much all. And I think that there are many students actually share with us this lecture.
Right, yes.
Yes. Dr. Prof. Magid, I don't know if you know Dr. Amina, Dr. Amina or not. Dr. Amina, she's مستشارة الوزير, وزير التراث والسياحة.
ما شاء الله.
I'm sure you have met her before.
I think. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Amina, and I'm really sorry for calling you Amina. I thought that you are just a staff in the junior staff in the department, and I know ladies like to call them junior staff, but sorry for that, Dr. Amina, and thank you very much for sharing with us.
It's pleasure. It's my pleasure meeting you, and I think we met in that last conference the UNESCO conference in Germany University.
I see, with Dr. Heba. Yes.
Yes, but we met at that time.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
So
Thank you very much
we
for
all,
sharing us and attending the lecture, Dr. Amina.
yeah, we are juniors with you, Professor. Experts. Yes, and you who started and set up the section in the university. So we glad to meet you and to discuss with you and to share your knowledge with us. Thank you very much.
It's really my
Professor.
pleasure, Dr. Amina. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Professor Magid, and thank you, Dr.
You're
Majid,
welcome.
for
You're welcome.
organizing this session. I mean, chairing this session, and Dr. Hafid also for organizing. Dr. Hafid يشتغل من وراء الكواليس يعني.
Thank you.
But he is the main key here.
Dr.
Thank you
Masuma,
very
let me
much.
say that tourism department is always a dynamic department.
Right.
It's
I
a
agree.
dynamic department.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually have the chance to visit the department not last year, early this year in February 2024, and I saw how dynamic with the department and how progress you developed the department, because I just was a founder, but the more important that to continue the success and what we call the activities. And I really also would like to congratulate Dr. Magda and all of the department that you can, because you actually got the ACAS certificate for quality assurance. And the ACAS is one of the actually most prestigious and elite German entity for accreditation. It's really very, very honorable, Dr. Magda, and for the tourism department. Congratulations for that, Dr. Magda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Magid. Thank you. Many thanks, everyone. Big thank again, Dr. Magid, and have a nice day, inshallah. Inshallah, next time we'll have another talk from your side.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Goodbye all. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.